Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to look at some other quick menus here. Notice we haven't even used the settings button because there are some things you can do without even having to actually go into settings. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our finger here at the bottom edge of the screen and just swipe up. And you may have to do that a couple times, but once you do, you should see something like this. And these are just some quick controls that you probably use so much that you want them available all the time. So this is a brightness slider, so you can touch it and make the screen brighter or darker, whatever you want to do. This is for taking pictures. This will let you have access to a clock or a timer. This is the lock rotation button. So if you noticed in the last video, every once in a while my icons would start spinning, and this would get like portrait mode or landscape mode. And what happens is your iPad actually will spin depending on whether you're holding it straight up and down or whether you're holding it long ways like this. And if you don't want it to spin, you just select that button. So as long, see right now it says the lock is off, which means it will spin. But if I push down on that with my finger, then it will say lock is on, and now it's not going to spin. This is do not disturb so that people or notifications won't pop up if you happen to be using the iPad for presentation. This is Bluetooth, which you'll probably keep that off because that will drain the battery. So you're probably going to keep Bluetooth off unless for some reason you're connecting it to a Bluetooth device. This is wireless in general. And then this button here is called airplane mode. If you select that, basically it will shut down wireless and Bluetooth and any kind of connection that you have like that. And it's basically used in case you go on an airplane and you've seen signs that say do not use electronic devices while the plane's flying or something like that. So it's kind of that idea there. It's just a quick way to shut off all connections with the outside world. Okay, so anyhow, this button is a play button. In case you were playing a video or something, you've got a volume button here. And then the last button is your mirroring button. And this will show up if you have either an Apple TV in the area or if you have, I actually have a program on my computer for mirroring. So right now I have MacBook Air selected because I'm actually projecting this on my MacBook. And as long as I keep that selected, you'll be able to see my iPad here. And if I unselect it, then the iPad won't be on the screen anymore. But it'll also say Apple TV if you happen to have Apple TV. And it's just a way of taking your iDevice and putting it up on a screen. Okay? So now we're going to touch this again and swipe it back down. And if you go up to the top here and pull down, you get notifications. So here are all the things that have popped up on my iPad recently. And I'm going to go ahead and close that. But what you can do if you go into settings under notification, you can determine, and that's right here, you can decide which notifications you want to pop up. And you can, adjust the settings for all of those, whether you want them to pop up at the top of the screen or in the middle or not at all. But once they pop up, then they will be saved in that bar that I showed you that you can pull down on. So then I'm going to hit the home button and shrink that down. And then the last quick set of controls that I want to show you is if you push twice on the home button over here really fast, what this does, it brings up all the things that you've used recently. So if because what happens is your iPad will save your spot. Whenever you're using a program in the iPad, okay, I'm going to hit the home button again, get rid of that. But whenever you're using a program in the iPad, if you want to stop using it, it'll basically, once you open it up again, it'll take you back to where you left off. And sometimes that can drain the battery. So if you want to stop using it altogether, you just double click on the home button. Okay, so I double push that, and then I see all the things that I did. It's also a quick way to switch back to them. If I just touch any one of these in the middle, now I can pull them up again. So I'm going to double click on the home button, and then I just scroll around to all the things I've done recently. If I know I'm not going to be using those programs again, then I can just kind of touch them with my finger and swipe up, and it takes them out of my recently used, I guess you would call it a queue or list. So these are all the things that I've done recently, and you just swipe on that, and you can make all those things go away. And then you can just touch anywhere, and it'll, well, it's not doing it because my computer just froze up. Oh, there we go. It takes you back to your home screen again. So that's how you can get rid of all the things that you've done recently. And, basically, that's a little bit more about some of the quick controls that you can use with the iPad. So now you know how to lock the screen, you know how to see what you've done recently and either switch back to it or get rid of it. And you also know where your notifications are and how to adjust your notifications so you don't have things popping up every 30 seconds. So hopefully you found that helpful.